Okay, man. Today we're we're gonna continue off where we left off in the other video, but we're gonna watch the 5.6 preview first because apparently there's a new patch coming, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it, which is a little odd. Usually all the Genshin stands are going crazy for the new patch, but maybe it's mid. Maybe it's mid. I did see that it was had something to do with Mondstadt characters, so little odd that people thought it was mid, or at least no one's. I haven't seen anyone talk about it, right? So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on over there. I'm gonna do a few dailies, or maybe two. It looks like I only have two combat dailies, which is so garbage, bro. So garbage. I wish I could set um I wish I could set my dailies to combat only. I don't think that's too selfish of me to really ask for. I just want to play the game, you know what I mean? Like I don't think it's that deep. Even though some people probably get annoyed that I don't care about the story, but like bro, I just when I go to play a video game, I kind of want to play the video game. You know what I mean? Combat folks starving, that's facts, bro. Okay, I don't even want to consider people who want the combat to be like a separate subsection of the player base because like honestly, if you want combat in Genshin Impact, I feel like you just want more game out of the game because that's what the game is. Even though a lot of people I know and have talked to, they just get upset at me for wanting combat. And it's like, okay, well, do you want a video game or do you want story? If you want story, you could just go read a book. How about that? Am I wrong for saying that? I don't think so. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong for saying that because if you genuinely are only here for the story, then just read the comic book. Like, why are you here? Told them to read, yes sir. Like, that's what they should be doing if they want story so badly. Story's not even that good, bro. That's the crazy part. It's not even that good. It's okay, you know. Okay, so and I understand that a lot of Genshin fans aren't gonna get this because they're not artists, and I don't wanna gatekeep because I'm an artist, but like the inciting incident of the story is the main character's sister or their sibling rather getting abducted. That's the inciting incident of the story. And then we have had barely any kind of mention of that storyline since the beginning of the game. Barely any mention. I'm not saying that there isn't any mention, by the way, because we need to understand what words mean. I'm not saying that there isn't any mention. I'm just saying that there's barely any. Like we can go throughout most of the story that's in Genshin, and then I would say maybe there's like an hour or two. 2 hours at max is when we're talking about the sibling. Other than that, nah, we had there's no mention of our sibling at all. And when a story does things like that, it just feels so awful, bro. They're like, yeah, this is the story of Genshin Impact. you're you're in this world to find your sister, and then like 5 years later, we still have zero mention, or not zero, but we still have a little mention of our sibling. Like that's crazy, bro. Like, let's be real, man. I'm not saying that the story is bad. I just think that it's just questionable, you know. Anyway, let's get to this 5.6. I did see some Mondstadt characters, so hopefully it's decent. Although I doubt it. Oh my gosh, Paimon's voice. I hate this character, bro. I hate this character so much. 1 second in and I'm already devastated. Wind Bloom Festival is about to begin. Okay, I do like when Wind Bloom Festival comes around. Oh gosh. Is this a real cutscene? Well, in-engine cutscene? Bro, you know it's sad when I get excited for an in-game cutscene. That's how you know this game is so trash. And before the Genshin stands come in here and you're like, oh, you're just a hater. Bro, I love the combat in this game. I need you to relax. That's why I play this game, for the amazing combat, bro. Come on, relax. Oh wait, I forgot I turned off I muted the audio because I always do that at first. Forgot about that. It's in a different language anyway, so like I mean we're not really missing much. Whose voice is? Oh wait, that's Paimon. Yeah, I don't like that. This is cringe. Okay. Oh my gosh, bro. I'm gonna go like forward like 2 seconds and then have a billion things to say, and apparently that's just how this works. Apparently that's just how this works. Um, how come Traveler doesn't get a uniform or like an outfit for the area or the event that he's in? How come the Traveler just stays in their default costume? Like, what's going on? Why can't they just make like a chef hat for him? Like, do the bare minimum and make a chef hat for him. Why can't we do that? I don't understand. Is that another in-game cutscene? Bro, you know it's bad. You know it's bad, but I'm getting excited for that, bro. That's so awful. Alright, so I already know that I'm getting this character because I paid attention to the leaks. So I mean, it is what it is here. I already know I'm getting this character, and I have a guarantee, so there's no way I'm not getting this character. Why is Aoife in Fontaine? I guess Natlan characters can travel outside of Natlan now. That makes sense. I don't I don't like that he has a gun. Yeah. It's a fantasy game. It takes place in medieval times. Yeah, they kind of had guns then. Okay, but I think it's just weird that he has a gun specifically. Like if it were a Fontanian character, I wouldn't mind because it makes sense. But for a Natlan character, I don't get it. It's the same thing with Xylonin. using there's already a motorcycle in this game. Okay, but here's the thing. So we already had guns in this game, but they were specifically for the Fontanian characters. In Fontaine, it made sense because that was the most advanced nation, so it made sense. But in Natlan, where this guy is from, it's an extremely tribal, war-torn nation. So him having a gun makes no sense. I mean, Auroran having jeans in the same nation doesn't make any sense to me either. Or the DJ set, or the DJ turntable set, that doesn't make any sense. The motorcycle doesn't make any sense. The giant revolver that Chaska has doesn't make any sense. It's just Natlan is the nation of nonsense. Like every character from that region makes no sense at all. Maybe not every character. Eon-san makes sense because she actually does look like a tribal character, which is crazy that one character out of all the other characters there actually makes sense contextually, but it is what it is, I guess. After all, it's a gacha game, right guys? It's a gacha game. Sounds like it checks out for the nation then? That's crazy. Okay, so I like this character's kit based on the leaks. I just need him. I need him to be a strong healer. If he's not a strong healer, then what's the point? If he's not like 3 times better than Mizuki, what's the point? Because Mizuki is just straight up garbage. Oh yeah, let me use my skill and become vulnerable for like 10 seconds, and this is the only way that I can deal damage. It's like, bro. And I'm pretty sure you have to use that skill too. In her gameplay. I'm pretty sure you have to use it. Which is I don't understand how they design characters in this game, bro. I really don't. 月始めの3日間、飛行物を連れて外出してはいけないらしい。参ったな。ここは昔 Flying out? Oh yeah, they did say that in the very beginning. But okay. I think that law is really stupid because they seem to try to apply that to living beings, but like birds exist. So are you gonna lock a bird in prison because it was flying? I think that's insane. For machines, I get it. If somebody sent out a drone, I understand. But if somebody's like flying a bird, come on, man. Are we going back down there? Wait, no. This is a place we've already been to. Why are they re-showing this? Oh, no, wait, this is different. Wait, I thought we were going to Mondstadt. Oh, yeah. I guess this makes sense. I guess we have to have this boss. Okay. Wait, no, but this isn't that one. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm gonna lower their audio, bro. Wait, here's the monster characters. And this is Mondstadt, right? Right here? Yeah, that's Mondstadt. Oh, I'm in pause. Cryo. It's cool, guys. Bennett's here. He's the real Pyro Archon. And I say that unironically, because brother has been in the game since day one, and he is still carrying a myriad of teams. Like, he is still carrying. There hasn't even been a single character that can match him. And I think that's it's so stupid. He's basically a 5-star unit. Basically. Ooh, this is a legendary team up. Although Kaya is mad useless here. Kaya is mad useless here. Oh, okay, maybe he's not mad useless because the only enemy that doesn't care about him being Cryo is I think it's called a Larachurl. I think that's what he's called. I think Samachurls are the small ones. The Midachurl is this the bigger one, and then the ice one in the middle, that one is I think that was a Larachurl. A Cryo Larachurl, I think that's what it's called. Wait, the defendant in today's case is the captain of the investigations team? Albedo? Where is this? Albedo's the one on trial? Yeah. What did he do? Neuvillette was stabbed, huh? What the heck? Okay, maybe I won't start talking. Okay, dog, you can go away if you're gonna start barking right in front of me. Okay, my thoughts on that. I don't think I care. I think it's definitely far more interesting than anything that's happened in that one, for sure. But I still don't think I care. Because where's our sibling? If that, okay, look. If our sibling being lost was not the inciting incident in just exploring the world and essentially being trapped in this world was the inciting incident instead, then maybe I'd be okay with it. But because the inciting incident is give my sibling back, I'm gonna be honest, I just don't really care about this world like that, bro. I just don't. In Xenoblade Chronicles X, I hate that I have to bring up Xenoblade Chronicles X so often when I talk about things I don't like in this game, but in Xenoblade Chronicles X, we are shown that planet Earth has been destroyed due to a war of two alien factions. And then we are behind the perspective of humanity fighting to well, essentially preserve their lives, right? Or fighting to survive, rather. And that inherently makes us care about those characters. Inherently. Because they are the victims in this matter. They were the ones that lost their home. And in that sense, that directly is relatable. That inciting incident of we've lost our home and we're fighting to survive, that is an amazing inciting incident for that game. And it just makes you care about the characters. At least a very little bit, right? Just a very little bit. It also helps that all the characters in the game are unique and likable to their own in their own unique way. In this game though, it's just not the case. Before someone goes, "Oh, well you technically did get trapped in this world." Which came first? Being trapped in this world or give my sibling back? Which one of those happened first? Before somebody comes at me for saying that if we were trapped in this world, the inciting incident would have been better. If we were trapped on this world first, and then we lost our sibling, then I could understand. But that's not the order of events. So I need them back up. I'm not listening to the Miap. I'm just not. I don't care. Skip.
Adapting movement signal tracking support mech. It's a piece of tech, basically.
Okay, hold on. Did she just say it's a piece of tech? It's a self-adapting movement signal tracking support mech. Brother. Brother. A self-adapting movement signal tracking support mech. Y'all just saying stuff at this point. I'm gonna skip his Scoffier because I already know what she does, and I am indeed interested in Escoffier.
Repeat? What happened? We can't divulge the details right now, but all will be revealed in Escoffier.
I don't care. I don't care.
Travelers will get to take part.
Damn, she got all that cake around here, bro. Pause. Not that kind of cake. I mean, like actual cake, like 5-book definition cake. So for the audio listeners, I gotta clarify.
In a one-of-a-kind culinary showdown in this quest, not only will travelers get to experience Escoffier's mentorship firsthand, but special guests
What?
will also make an appearance.
Special guest, not.
I don't care, bro. I don't care. Yeah. The characters come in cool. Okay, now for the people that do like the story, all of that cake. For the people that do like the story, it is nice that you guys get this. It's just this is a video game. Where's my gameplay? Where is it? Where's my gameplay? Yeah. I already know about Scoffy. I saw all the leaks, bro. I want the character. Shut up. I already know I want the character. Be quiet. You ain't gotta tell me anymore. You ain't gotta focus on her anymore. Just relax. Back up. Navia? Wait, Navia's on the banner?
Wishes for Escoffier and Navia. A new 5-star person.
I don't care about the weapons.
Also enjoy a drop rate boost on the first half banners.
Aoife, no way, bro.
I think that's my line, but I couldn't have said it better myself.
More time with these two in the new, and you'll see.
Holy servants!
Cringe.
Yeah. Kakuku appreciation zone only, alright? But seriously, just wait until you see him sprint. He spreads out those huge wings, and it's super awesome. Oh, and while we're on the subject, if there are any travelers...
I just want to say that, okay, for these Natlan characters, I like that some of them... I kind of like that some of them can fly. I just don't like how short the duration of flight is. If you're gonna add flight into your video game, don't make it last 2 seconds and then you have to start walking again. Don't do that, because what's the point of me flying if I can't just fly? And what's crazy is that when you use the bird, like the bird, what's it called, Saurian, so that you don't have to have a character, you can just use the bird. Whenever you use that, if you want to fly upwards, not only do you take a ton of stamina to do so, but if you can't even go up that high. I just wish it was less restrictive. Like, it doesn't make sense for it to be as restrictive as it is. Like, if you fly for like 10 meters in the air, or not even that, if you fly upwards, just straight upwards for like a second or two, the bird becomes useless. The bird that can naturally fly becomes useless. It no longer can fly. I just think that's so dumb. Just why? Not to mention that the phlogiston bar doesn't just regenerate over time, even though I'm within Natlan. I just don't. Why, bro? Like, I don't understand. Why does it not just refresh or reload over time? Oh man, those mechanics just get on my nerves, bro. And I think the reason why it gets on my nerves is because it goes against video game mechanics that have already existed. And we've already fleshed out these kinds of gameplay mechanics, but this game goes out of its way to completely mess that up. And I don't get it. But anyway,
who haven't done the part of the Ochkanatlan World Quest where you chase down the evil dragon, try it out with Aoife. It'll be a completely different kind of flying experience.
Yeah,
Wow.
I see that. Although it looks more like Aoife is chasing down a patient for a checkup.
Yeah.
cringe. You're cringe for saying that. Straight up cringe. I don't really care what they're saying because I already want Aoife anyway. Like, Aoife just seems. Aoife's supposed to be a healer, right? And it looks like he does actually do some damage. Ooh, him in an electro charge team? Yeah, that would actually be fire. Hold on. Yeah, that would be a good team. And he heals. I'm really genuinely hoping he heals like a lot. I really hope they don't like make him heal like 2,000 per tick, because that would be so stupid, bro. Make him heal for like 4,000 at the barest minimum, okay? Barest minimum. And then eventually maybe let him heal like 11,000. Please. No, but who heals 11,000? Jean does. Baiju does. I know there's other characters that do that. Kokomi does. Barbara does. She just straight up full heals you, bro. Like, there are characters that heal that much. So. A new boss.
Hey Jane, let's this is where we should wrap this part up, I think, because travelers can search for their own answers to this in-game. Now, let's kick off the event.
Wait. I want to see the
configuration device from version 5.1. Both are pieces of ancient dragon technology.
They almost seem like two parts of one terrifying monster.
Okay, Jane, let's this is where we should wrap this part up, I think.
Okay, I want all these characters to shut up, cause they just say a lot of obvious things, and I just don't like that.
Why is Ahau cowering behind Kanich? I would have thought he was too proud for that. Oh, wait. It must be because of Fontaine.
Oh yeah, this is Kanichi's virtual dinosaur dragon god. By the way, his virtual dragon god that's been digitized in a war-torn nation that's highly tribal. They have virtual avatars. I just wanted them to make it make sense, but they just didn't. They just didn't make it make sense. Why did they go with 16-bit? I just this game just irritates me, bro. It just irritates me. It's just the lack of cohesion just irritates me. And I just wish they made it make sense. Oh man. It doesn't matter though because it's a gacha game.
Ban on flying objects.
Exactly. Ahau and Kakuku made the journey all the way to Fontaine and happened to arrive just in time for the ban.
Ugh.
Ahau was able to hide, but Kakuku got scared and flew straight into the Palais Mermonia. Auroron thinks Kakuku will manage to send all of the important documents in the Palais flying around the building.
Oh no, that can't end well. Well, what about Aoife? Isn't he going to come to Kakuku's rescue?
Okay. So that's the dumb part about this law in Fontaine. It states flying objects are banned within their first few days of being in the nation, right? But they're not simply flying objects. They are living beings. You're gonna tell me that a bird's first... Well, first off, how are you supposed to know that it's a bird's first time in Fontaine? But you're gonna tell me that a bird is gonna be arrested because it flew to Fontaine? I mean, look, if it applies for the bird, the actual bird, it has to apply to all birds. So this law is just stupid, bro. This law is just dumb.
Don't worry, with Nervalette and Risley there, Kakuku's in good hands. Plus,
That's like us in real life trying to arrest every single bird that flew near a police station. Like, hello? Are you out of your mind, bro?
he might even learn a new phrase or two. Hey, check it out. Risley managed to teach him one. Anyone want to guess what it is?
Oh, I don't really know what it could be.
I don't care. Shut up.
Check out all the shenanigans in game, and trust me, there are a lot of them. Some background. It's called.
There's a free weapon. There's the free weapon. What does it do? Is it useless? I bet the weapon is useless. It's a bow, so it most likely is useless, right? Because there's been a lot of free bows that have come out, and well, not everyone, but like a lot of them have been completely useless, from what I've seen.
Laugh. Now on is Ula in charge of the.
I hope.
On board.
For those that are upset that I'm skipping around a lot, just understand that I want the video game to have gameplay, and I am looking for gameplay. If I don't see gameplay, I'm gonna skip because I want gameplay. If I wanted to read a story, I would just open a book. If I wanted to watch a story, I would just go watch a TV show or watch a movie. Okay? I came here to play a video game, to play an interactive experience, not to just sit around and listen to characters talk endlessly for 8 hours. This is not. Let me relax.
Lapine Pauline might be in a better position.
Come on board? Why am I fraudulent?
Come on board, bro, and precious
Plus, no
Wait, what's this?
points to the most important tasks based on their management need.
restaurant. Oh,
For example, in Eclectic Escapades, visit underwater at special so that visitors can also animal
places to
draw in visitors and increase revenue.
and travelers can all Canyon
Counters will become parts.
Too bad. Oh, dude.
all sorts.
Which room?
Oh, version 5.6 will have return.
Man. This is a good banner. For those that don't have either one of these okay, let me stop. That is a good banner though. Chronicled Wish banner. Okay, here's my problem with the Chronicled Wish banner. And I only have one problem with the Chronicled Wish banner. Well, that's not really true. Another problem is pretty uh opinion based, in that opinion is just that most of the characters on the Chronicled Wish banner are just kind of bad or mid, unless you like extremely invest into them, and then they become good eventually because you invest so much into them. But yeah, the other reason why I don't like the Chronicled Wish banner is because there's not a specified currency for the Chronicled Wish banner. Instead of me using regular wishes that go onto the limited banners, I have to use those wishes on the limited banner and the Chronicled Wish banner. I just think they should have just made it. Let's put it like this: if they made the Chronicled Wish banner either have its own currency or use standard pulls, I'd get it. I'd be like, this is fine. And then I would actually appreciate the Chronicled Wish banner. Also, if we're wishing on the Chronicled Wish banner, you should reduce the pity to 40. Hard pity should be reduced to 40. I mean, if you wanna be a stingy, 50. Reduce it to 50. Because if we have if we go with the standard pulls route, you're never gonna have 90. And unfortunately, if you don't have 120, you do not guarantee what character you want. And I just think this Chronicled Wish banner is just bad. I just think it's bad. I don't think it makes sense. I really don't. It feels like another scam banner. Scam banner. That's what it feels like. Because the weapon banner is just a scam. It's just outright a scam. You either have $320 or you have enough wishes to guarantee that you get the weapon. And you have to have what, 1800 wishes? Or not 1800. Oh my gosh, that would be nuts. You have to have 180 wishes in order to guarantee to get that weapon? No, bro. Like stop making things difficult to obtain in a video game. It's not fun. I don't get that, bro. Like, well, the whole point of video games is escapism and to have fun. Why are we taking the fun out of the video game? I don't get that. But anyways, it's a gacha game, so none of what I said matters as long as it's a gacha game. It's not like it has actual regular gameplay in the game. It's not like it could be a triple A video game if they just took out that system. It's not like that. Not at all.
Wish banner will be returning in version 5.6. I know a lot.
Also, they could get rid of the gacha system if they just added skins. But they don't do that for some reason. I don't understand why they don't just add skins. I don't understand it. And you know what's crazy? You could add skins and and bring back the gacha system with those skins. But they don't do that because why? I don't know.
A lot of travelers have been waiting for that, so check it out if you're interested.
Yeah, you have to. And best of luck on your pulls.
Yeah, good luck on your 30 pulls that you saved from the last banner, which was like 14 days ago, because you wanted the character that was on banner, but it took you 90 whole pulls to get that character. Yeah, good luck. Good luck on your pulls, bro. This game is just disingenuous sometimes, bro. Not even sometimes. This game is just straight. Wait. Wait. the weapons are also in the Chronicle Wish banner. Bro, this is just a scam, man.
All right. That was a lot of info. So let's take our first break. Here's the second
First break?
redemption.
Bloom
They're
Festival.
lying.
It's Albedo on trial.
Oh, their first
Who is
break.
the young man in the courtroom? And is he friend or foe? What tidings does the Dodo communication device bring this time? The answers to these questions and more in the version 5.6 Archon Quest.
Nice. We've been a seems to have that has translation into the case.
Okay. This looks kind of cool as long as there's combat. So let me look for combat.
That's done. Other members also.
In this instead. You just
Also, for those of you that are wondering why I'm just skipping over Dahlia, is he playable? No? Then I don't care. But I will say, I am anticipating Varka, because they've been talking up a real good game about Varka, and I expect him to be a real strong character. Also, I already know that Dahlia is a Hydro unit because leaks. So, I'm gonna be honest, I don't care. Like he's probably just gonna be a good character because he's Hydro. Because Hydro is just the best element in the game. So, yeah, I just don't care about Dahlia like that.
Dropped two major names. Varka has been on an expedition for a long
They didn't just drop two major names. Dahlia's the only character that we have no previous mention of. Varka we have heard from the very beginning of the game. And Alice we have also heard, well, not from the very beginning of the game, but pretty early on. So, this is just a straight up lie. Straight up.
time. Sounds like we finally get to hear how he's doing.
Also, you mean to tell me that all those monsters got into the capital and none of the knights were able to get them out of there? Bro, you guys are trash. You have Pyro Batman. Like, what are you doing? You legitimately have Pyro Batman. Like, what are you doing, bro? How do you get messed up like that? How do you let all those monsters get in? I don't understand. And then you have Jean, which Jean is a competent knight in and of herself, right? And then you have, why didn't we just send out Klee? Because Klee would have probably blown up all the enemies on her own. Just blown them all up to bits. She has a bunch of bombs. She'll probably just toss the bombs and they'll just be obliterated. It's for plot reasons. It's for the story. The characters just weren't there. They have to have they have to have an inciting incident for the story to kick off. Okay, then your inciting incident is stupid then. It just so happens that these other characters have to be missing or they're out of the fight for some reason or they just weren't there at the time. Like, that seems like a plot hole, but anyway.
As for Alice, we know she's the mother of the most adorable Klee and an elder of the Hexen.
Okay,
Oh, you
stop
know
talking.
what?
Stop
The
talking.
Sky
Maybe
if we joined in on the to defend Mondstadt.
Gameplay?
Wow, this is kind of emotional. Mondstadt was the beginning of everything. It's the place where travelers met their first companion.
Okay. So the characters were there. So the characters were there. They just didn't start fighting until after their walls were breached. Pause. Yeah.
Companions and embarked on this whole journey.
Even Razor was there? Yeah, you guys are cooked.
Now it's in crisis. Oh, hopefully travelers can do something to stop it.
Oh, they can, but it won't be an easy road.
Bro, who is using Anima Traveler in 2025, bro? Are you really that washed? What?
can offer something to help, but travelers will need to pass a trial first and defeat the king.
Why do the Mondstadt citizens need help? You have Fire Batman. I don't understand. It's a bunch of cryo enemies approaching the capital, and you have a character that can just throw fire, and you have another character that can just throw bombs. You guys are weak, bro. Nah, that's dumb.
King and queen on the chessboard.
Anything to defend Mondstadt. I'm sure travelers aren't scared of a little.
Look at what a of the trial. The ply.
I don't really care about this. I don't really care about this boss fight unless it has if it has some kind of stupid artificial difficulty, then I'll get a little irritated. But if it's just a general boss fight, then we're good.
Victorious.
It looks like there's a different Dodoko presiding over the second phase. One where
Well, of the trial. Extremely powerful attacks.
done for later, travelers. But we have to uncover a crisis in Liu. This is also
Right side. Encountered.
closer to simulation, Damport simulation.
Combat?
Dude, nice.
Oh, it's one of
This
these.
war game comes with all new offensive.
This is gameplay. It's not the combat I want, but it looks like it's fine. You know what I don't like? I don't like that they keep introducing these fascinating little mini games of like strategy. They're like strategy mini games, and then they just remove them from the game. I wish they would stop doing that. If you're gonna add things like this into the game, just leave them in. You don't even have to change them. Just refresh the rewards every once in a while, bro. Like, oh man, this game could be really cool and like super inclusive to all different gameplay styles, but like they just remove any fun that you're allowed to have. I wish they would stop doing that, really.
And defensive gameplay. The key to success is really understanding your game pieces.
I'm one of the few people that really enjoyed the potion event. I'm one of the few people that enjoyed that. I wish I could just have that event. And honestly, I wish I could make items or potions or whatever using that method. But it is what it is. It was far more interactive than select this item, select that item, and then press enter and then you have the item. It was way more interactive. And if you have a video game, interactivity is like the key to making a really good title. The interactivity. If you remove interactivity from your video game, it just makes it worse. It's like saying that a movie is equivalent to a video game because it has cutscenes in it. But there was no interactivity, but it's a video game. Like, we gotta stop doing stuff like that, bro.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, for example, is it a
Alright, I already understand the event. We don't have to sit here and take 20 minutes to explain the gameplay. Like, it's pretty obvious what it is. Well, I guess to like 5-year-olds, they're not gonna understand, but like, show them how to play the game. Do not tell them how to play the game. Show them how to play the game, because this is a visual medium. Gosh, man, I just hate that. I just hate it, bro.
simple battle for coins? Ha, well, think again.
This is just coin battle, and I think that's just lame. Genuinely not that interesting. Just give me combat events, bro. Just give me combat events. Ooh, what is
levels
this?
of difficulty, and there are also challenge buffs to take advantage of. So make sure to take that into account when.
Oh, they're doing this again. Oh, I love this combat event where you can use a character on both halves. Bro. Okay, now we're talking, bro. Now we're talking about the gameplay, real gameplay.
Forming your teams.
Okay.
Traveler.
And I'm not saying real gameplay to shaft the strategy minigame. It's just that the baseline gameplay for this video game is combat. And if you disagree with that, you have to be stupid. You simply have to be dumb if you think that the baseline gameplay for this video game is not combat. What is the first gameplay that you are introduced to in this game? I mean, I guess technically you could say exploration, but then they don't really give you any instructions about exploration other than walking around or and picking up an item on the ground. But like after that, they immediately throw you into combat. So if you say that the main gameplay of this game is not combat, I just think you're dumb.
Travelers can also take a look at the challenge record and see how their friends approached each challenge. Could provide some food for thought.
No.
I don't like that she made that joke. I don't like that. I don't like that she made that joke. Oh, looks the trading card. It's the trading card game, guys. The trading card game that should not be in the game. It should be its own client. Gosh, bro, I hate that this game is within Genshin Impact. When I open Genshin Impact to play Genshin Impact, I'm never going to pay any attention to the card game because it's not its own client. And what's crazy is that I like the card game. But if I open Genshin Impact, I'm gonna play Genshin Impact. I'm not gonna play the card game. Just make a separate client, bro. I don't get it. Make it so that if you play Genshin Impact, you know, you can also gain rewards in the card game. And then if you play the card game, you can gain rewards in Genshin Impact. Make it so that the two games are like companion games, but separate them so that you have to go to each game separately. But whatever. But whatever though.
It's added to regular mode.
Nice. More food for the card sharks.
There are also some major.
Alright, let me skip towards let me see if there's more gameplay. Oh, the ley line disorder's coming back. Okay. Imaginarium Theater
An
optimizations.
order. So, in the version 5.6 update, the dev team has made the Brilliant Blessing details page a lot more intuitive, which should make it easier for travelers to make strategic level up decisions.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie, I just picked the option that makes me stronger. Or I picked the option that gives me the ability that I don't have a lot of. I mean, I think it's just that simple. I think it's just that simple. Genuinely.
Yeah, and in addition, rewards will be available for completing the star challenges in the new season of the Imaginarium Theater that begins on June 1st.
You know what?
These rewards are garbage. These rewards are garbage. They're garbage. And if you want to sit here and disagree with me and say that they're not bad, okay, check this out. You get 60 resin. You want to know how much resin you get within a week? You get like, well, hold on, let me make sure I let me make sure I have my numbers right. You get 1,400 resin in a week. Oh, but this 60 resin makes sure that you have 1,460 resin. Ooh, brother, these rewards are garbage. Now, if it were like 10 resin, if it were like 10 of these, right? And it's like, and it gives you 600 resin. Bro, okay, now we might be talking. Now it might be a little bit worth it. But no, just 60 resin. that is one domain, or that is two trounce domains, and that is three non-condensed regular domains. Two trounce, three regular non-condensed. I just think it's dumb. I just think it's dumb, man. Just give me like 600 resin instead. Give me 600, bro. Like, come on. And the eight elixirs, brother. That is what? That is a total of what? That's like 4 levels on your artifact. Wow, I can make 4 levels on my artifact with like some basic blue artifacts. Wow, so amazing. I'm sorry, this is just sad to me. This is okay, look. If you can earn these Stella stars in this Imaginarium Theater, if you can earn those stars, that means that you are essentially the upper echelon of investment. That means that your characters have so much investment that you kind of probably should get off of the game. If I'm being honest, like your characters have so much investment that you might need to go actually touch grass for like a few hours. And these are the rewards that you're getting in return. I just think you should be offended. I think you should be offended. Now, I will say, I think at max I could earn like 6 to 7 rewards, or 6 to 7 of those stars. But I think it heavily depends on how BS the challenges are. If the challenges are just straight up BS, then I'm not getting them. But if they are reasonable challenges, I can get them. But that just has to. But that's not investment. That is just my rotations, me understanding the characters. That is actually a skill thing. It's not an investment thing. But like having extreme levels of investment makes it so that you don't have to have skill, if that makes sense.
What would be nice? A restart button after the final act. As it stands right now, finishing the final act takes you directly to the credits, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if you just missed that last star challenge? That would be such a bummer.
Yeah, the dev team has received that feedback as well, so a restart button is also being added to the new update.
I feel like there's a lot of obvious decisions being made. Like this is obvious, no? Like why would okay, here's my question. If you're gonna add this to the Imaginarium Theater, you have to add this to the Spiral Abyss, or else it just won't make sense. Man, man. I get upset because a lot of these changes are like obvious changes. And honestly, I thought that was already in the game. Because it's such an obvious thing to put in the game. Like, why is that not in the game? I don't get that. Man.
Oh, nice.
Let's go.
That should make it easier to get full stars. All right.
What would make it easier to get full stars is if you actually scale the difficulty to meet the player's account level. That would make it easier. As a matter of fact, it's not even about it making it easier. That would make it more understandable. It would make it less annoying. But whatever. I mean, it's a video game, right? Like, you should make it fun. It shouldn't be frustrating that you can't get a certain thing in the game because you don't have 500 characters. Like, man.
Right, so this next update addresses another common problem. Travelers have probably noticed that when you go to raise a character's skills, the skill descriptions can be pretty long and dense.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. It's important for travelers to have all the details. But it's also easy to get bogged down in the weeds, so this is something the dev team has been working on. Starting in version 5.6, the descriptions on the talent and constellation pages for new characters will be optimized to be more concise, so it's easier for travelers to grasp the core information.
This is also a very obvious thing that should have been in the game, but whatever. It's nice that it's being put in the game. I just think it's like an obvious thing that should have been in the game regardless.
Of course, travelers who prefer to dive into all the details.
Because if you're gonna write a book for how a character plays, then you should make it easier for the player to understand all the information that's being provided to them. You should make it clear and concise what certain things do. But that's just my opinion.
Details can always expand the content for a more comprehensive description.
Nice. Sorting through all that information should be a lot faster now.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Our next optimization is for the treasure compass. Travelers provided feedback that while attempting to complete Natlan's warrior challenges, it was difficult to locate where to pick up the quests. So, after the version 5.6 update, the treasure compass can now track those locations.
Woo!
Yeah, they can.
Who's actually asking for that? Hey yo, what happened to that survey where the Genshin team actually asked questions that had extremely obvious answers? They were like, "Oh, do you like when you have to wait like an entire week before you can do more trounce domains?" And then everyone automatically just said, "No, we don't like that." What happened to that review? Or what happened to that survey that had a bunch of obvious answers that they already knew the answers to? What happened to that? Why aren't they changing it so that I don't have to spend a whole lot of resin on like 3 runs in the domain? Or they what happened to them changing how the daily talent books and weapon materials change? Why don't they what happened to that, bro? Like change that into that they're always available. What happened? They're just not gonna say anything about that. It's not a hard thing to code into the game unless you hard coded all these domains to explicitly work in such a way that they are only available on certain days. You know what? No. It's not even that hard. It's not even that hard. Because you already have a system in place that allows you to collect rewards regardless. It's already in the game. It's in the game in 3 different areas already. So it's not even hard for them to put that in or make that change. So never mind. I was gonna play devil's advocate there, but no, like they have no excuse. It's in the game in 3 completely different areas. So no, I can't defend them.
Warrior challenges are important because that's how you get obsidian fragments.
Shut up. Shut up.
At a high enough exploration progress, more chests from various nations can also be located using the treasure compass.
Oh, so they changed it so that okay, that's good. That's a good thing. Okay, I'm not mad at that. That's good.
Nice. That should really help travelers that are stuck at 99% exploration progress.
They should also change how the exploration progress is tracked, because there are like a lot of chests that don't account, or not account, but there are chests that aren't accounted for in that exploration, and it doesn't make sense for them to do that, in my opinion.
Map pins have also been optimized. Starting in version 5.6, travelers can now delete custom pins in batches.
Ooh, that should make it a lot easier to start fresh if you're someone who really likes to go ham with the markers.
Definitely.
Cringe. What is this? Beauty boxes? Oh my gosh, that's so cringe, bro. Oh yeah, if you buy this makeup, yeah, you'll get like stuff in the game. Oh, no, music release. Oh. Just give me gameplay, bro. Song of the Welcome Moon, what?
Bye.
See ya.
All right, bro. That's crazy. Are we ready for 10 more minutes of this? I got one gameplay event that I like. Okay, no, I got two. I got two gameplay events that I like in the next patch. And then I get Escoffier, so freeze teams will be fun again. To be fair though, freeze teams have been fun with my Charlotte and Farina, so you know. But anyways, let's get back into this video, shall we?
Warzone, Farina, Cloud Retainer, Xiao Team.
So
Fully free to play.
So
Okay, so I already talked about how that's not a free to play team. I remember that.
yeah, totally get that, right? I've got to go ahead and I gotta basically play the game like it's my job to be able to do that.
Not really.
So when he's saying not really, that's simply not the case. You do actually have to play the game like it's your job because you have to have those characters at least at level 80 and their talent levels have to at least be at level 7. Not all of those talents need to be 7, but the important talents need to be at least level 7. And then you have to have either level 16 or 16 plus level artifacts. Ideally you'd want to have level 20 artifacts. But I mean, if you have a whole lot of good old skill, you know, if you can really truly reach that skill ceiling, right? Maybe you can get away with level 16s, like all of them being level 16. But I would definitely say that you would need 16 plus for sure. For the artifacts. And then talent levels are all 7, or at least the important ones, and then the character being level 80. And then your weapon needs to be level 82. Like bare minimum. So, and in order to do all of that for those, and that's just talking about getting the characters prepared. That's not even talking about the characters themselves, because Cloud Retainer, Zhao, Faruzan, and Farina, all those are 3 limited characters. And then that's 1 4-star character that needs the C6 in order to be truly viable on that team. In order to have all of that, you do have to grind. In order to get all those things. I don't understand why he's saying that you don't have to play the game like it's your job, or as an equivalent, you don't have to grind to achieve that, because that's just simply not the case. You have to grind to get all those things. Level 80 characters, level 80 weapons, level 7 talents, and 16 plus level artifacts. You have to grind. Like, let's stop being disingenuous, bro.
And that's with a full premium team, right? Like that's basically
if you love
that's basically
Zhao,
4 or 5 stars with the C6 Farazan. I don't think you're clearing it without C6 Farazan, right?
well, of course. Like,
Okay, so he proved the point. He proved the point. You need C6 Faruzan. So you understand that that's a lot of investment, right? You understand that. When Zhao came out, there was no Farina. There was no Cloud Retainer. There was no Faruzan. Those characters didn't come out. So if you loved Zhao before those characters came out, like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, when the other characters come out, you would have to grind for those characters. I just think this notion is massively disingenuous. Do you have any idea how many Anemo gems you have to collect in order to level those characters up? And then you have to fight 3 different bosses like 20 times. And then you have to collect all the materials within the open world, and then you have to have enough Mora, and you have to have enough character level up experience. It's a giant mess, bro. You have to have so many things in order to level up these characters. So I just think it's disingenuous for him to say that. Like, it's a chore to level up those characters.
if you don't have the appropriate team for your favorite character, you won't clear with any game unless you invest
With any game? That's just simply not true. That's just simply not true. Simply put, that's just not true. In any game, because there are a lot of games out there that like actually require you to have a decent amount of skill in order to play them. Like, you can get away with a lot of things in Wuthering Waves as long as you have the skill to do so. It's not the same in Genshin. There is no the skill ceiling is set in place, and it really does not ever budge. And I don't think it really even has the potential to budge unless they add in parry. But until they do that, that skill ceiling is not gonna budge. In Wuthering Waves, the skill scaling is way higher because there are way more things that you have to take into account. There's way more buttons that you can press that makes your characters do certain things or certain actions. Like, this argument is disingenuous. It's not the same. Like, they just are not the same. This is not true for every game. It's just not true.
harder in your favorite character, you won't clear.
Let me show you.
Because I can load up Smash Bros and beat Subspace Emissary with any character that I want to play. I can load up Smash Bros Ultimate and I can beat World of Light with any character I want to play. I can now I know that those are fighting games, but like he said it's true for all these other games like that. Like I no, like this is not true. Like I can load up Wuthering Waves and do the same thing. It's just not true. It's just not true. And here's the thing. It's not a true statement to make if there is one single example that goes against that statement. It only takes one. And for you to say, "Oh, but that's an exception to the rule," I think that it's still just objectively not true. Because there is an exception to the rule, so it can't be true. But anyway.
What builds I use to 3-star. And I think it's pretty unilateral that we can see over here this brand is dog shit, right?
Okay, so what's let's just summarize. What's the point of this video here? To show how easy Tower of Adversity is?
To show that the end game.
I think if he thinks that's the point of the video, that or I think if Sega Poco believes that that is the point that Sintontos is trying to make, then he's just not paying any attention. I feel like he has like a bias against whatever Sintontos is saying because he has an issue with how Spiral Abyss is being handled, and because that's a part of Genshin Impact, he's going, "Oh, well, you're just trying to say that Wuthering Waves is better." And that's just not the case. Like, stop jumping to conclusions that are like that, please.
In Wuthering Waves is not an absolute disaster like it is in Genshin.
So it's easy enough for you to clear it with dog shit stuff?
It's not
Okay, again. Well, maybe he's about to say it.
that it's easy enough to clear with dog shit stuff. It's that you can reasonably expect to clear if you play well, even with dog shit stuff, and it only
Okay, so he says exactly what I was gonna say. Great.
gets easier the more you invest. The thing with Wuthering Waves is that you have so many different ways that you can clear. You can pay to win. You can do all of this stuff, right? But in Genshin,
So
it's
what's the
literally
problem with-
it's literally getting to a point where it's a character check.
What's the difference between that and Genshin?
Genshin
Okay, did he literally not just say I want you to tell me. Did he literally not just say what the difference was? Did he literally not just say that? Because I'm quite certain he literally just said what the difference was. I'm quite certain he literally said that. Literally, I'm quite certain he literally gave the exact reason why it's different. Oh my gosh, man. Like, I don't think Sega Poker is trying to understand. I really don't. I really don't think he's trying to understand. So let's go back,
that
right?
you can reasonably expect to clear if you play well, even with dog shit stuff. And
Is that not a difference? You can expect to clear as long as you play well. But in Genshin Impact, you can play the exact same with zero investment and the exact same with high investment, and it makes a huge difference. You can play the exact same, but because you have so much investment, it makes your actual effort in the game almost entirely meaningless. Almost. Because certain characters just get absolutely overtuned attributes later on. With investment, that is. And then with constellations, it just gets worse, you know. But anyway.
and it only gets easier the more you invest. The thing with Wuthering Waves is that you have so many different ways that you can clear. You can pay to win. You can do all of this stuff, right? But in Genshin, it's literally...
So I don't like that he's saying pay to win, because that doesn't actually mean anything. Like realistically, that doesn't really mean anything. And again, remember when I said pay to win in CN JP versus EN UK? Here it is again. But no, like in Wuthering Waves, they make it so that all the characters can actually fight against the enemies. It's just that some characters might have a harder time due to the enemy having resistance against whatever damage type that they deal out. But that's it. That's just it, though. It has nothing to do with your skill level. If you have the skill, you can probably clear it. But it's not the case in Genshin.
It's literally getting to a point where it's a character check.
What's the difference between that and Genshin?
Genshin...
So again, did he not literally just explain the difference? Did he not just explain the difference like just now? Like actually? Because I'm quite certain he did.
It has hard character and attribute checks. There's no real, like, you can say there's the skill check, sure. Right?
I don't think there's a skill check, because if you play the same way with, let's say you have average level investment, you have high level investment, and then you have straight up just giga whale investment, right? If you play the exact same way in all those different levels of investment, it is clear that it is not a skill issue. That's the thing. Like, it's not a skill thing. And the skill ceiling for Genshin Impact isn't high. It's pretty low. You understand what your characters do. You do necessary rotations with your characters. And then, like, you abuse iframes. And that's it.
Right, because of like the Zhao example that you used, that's a skill check on top of having all the premium units. Even
So
having
Wuthering
the
Waves
premium
is
team isn't
easier
enough.
than Genshin,
You have to
so
sweat
in
your balls
endgame,
off
so
at the
therefore
same
it's
time.
better.
The end game.
Bro, that comment is so dumb. So Wuthering Waves endgame is easier than Genshin Impact's, therefore it's better. That's such a dumb take to have after what he just said. Genuinely, it's just a dumb take to have. Like it's not that the endgame isn't better because it's easier. The endgame is better because it's actually based on skill rather than having arbitrary checks or artificial difficulty that's injected into the gameplay. Like the enemies in the Genshin Impact just have super inflated HP in Spiral Abyss. The HP is super inflated. It's like 8 times the regular HP that the enemy usually has. Okay, maybe not 8 times, but it definitely feels that way, because the overworld bosses that I be fighting, they definitely don't have the HP to even allow me to do a full rotation. But in the Spiral Abyss, I have to do like 4, 5, 6 rotations in order to actually beat it. So it's just that Genshin Impact has a lot of arbitrary mechanics involved, like artificial difficulty and its HP inflation, for example. That's one of the HP or not. That's one of the artificial difficulty issues that it has. And in Wuthering Waves just doesn't have that. Or at least, okay, I'm pretty sure Wuthering Waves does have a little bit of HP inflation, but like it's not to an absurd degree like Genshin Impact does. Genshin has way like I'm telling you, it feels like 8 times the HP. I'm telling you, it does. So it's just not the same, and that's just a dumb take to make after what he said. It really is.
Game feels fair.
What?
The end game feels fair in Wuthering.
He said it feels fair, and he said, "What? What do you mean fair? What?
Waves. It doesn't feel like a
Like he's dumbfounded."
roster check. It doesn't feel like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to clear. I'm gonna have a terrible fucking time. Just
And the thing is that people want to be able to reasonably clear, but when they see certain things in the Spiral Abyss, they go, "Oh, I have to have this character in order to beat it, or else I'm just not gonna." Right? I have to have this character with this element. I have to have this character on this very specific build so that I can actually deal with this enemy. Like, that's the problem. And then it never comes down to actual real skill.
just because I didn't pull this type of unit or this specific unit. Even when you have the full best in slot team, the one you just gave an example, right, for the Zhao team, where you have the Cloud Retainer, the Farina, the C6 Farazan, and then the Zhao.
And then what if those people don't have that? Because that team isn't the only team that can be used. Or Zhao players would have, I mean. Because, like, before it was Bennett, Zhongli, and I don't know who the other unit was, but I think it's like another. It would have to be like an Inanimo character, I guess. So maybe like Sucrose, maybe. It was definitely an Animo unit for sure. Yeah, because they'd have like Viridus and Veneer. Or Venerer. Sorry, not Veneer. They would have Viridus and Venerer, right? So it would be an Animo unit, which I don't really remember which one because I don't even care about Zhao like that. I just don't like his gameplay. And it would be Bennett, and then Zhongli, and obviously Zhao, right? But you probably can't beat it with that team. So
That's basically C6 Farazan is more expensive. Let's just be honest here. It's more expensive than a 5-star unit. And you're saying that to clear with that
In the short term, that's true when a character first releases as a 4-star. In the long term, it's untrue. So Genshin Impact has a long term.
okay, so here's the problem with that. This Spiral Abyss is in the short term. So what does it matter if in the long term that's not true? What does that even matter? Who cares? If you need this character within the short term, yes, that character is more expensive than a 5-star. Like let's we're talking about this Spiral Abyss, for example, right? If you want to clear a Spiral Abyss and you need a certain character and that character's on banner, you have a short time to get that character so that you can use them. So, yes, that character is more expensive. Like, what are we talking about? You only get your maximum chance of acquiring that character is 1 of 3. Man, I can't, bro. I can't. I can't. This is so dumb. And this is a game like This is a game of gambling, bro. Like, come on. Oh my gosh. It's not that hard to understand.
Term thing where you're able to play it for very, very long time. Farazan's been out in a lot of different banners.
And it doesn't matter if she's been out in a lot of different banners. This is the one. Let's say that this is the one Spiral Abyss that they need that character, and then that character is on banner. And they've never really needed that character otherwise, other than that, right? They have to spend a lot of wishes on that banner in order to get that character. And let's say whoever's playing is just massively unlucky. You're gonna tell me it's not really that expensive to get that character? I just think this argument is disingenuous. Because it can either be they get extremely lucky and it only takes them 60 pulls to get C6 Faruzan, right? Or they get massively shafted, massively unlucky, and they end up having to spend a bunch of money in order to get the character. Because they keep getting pulls for other units that they don't want. I just think it's just disingenuous. And it's like, in order to average this out, you have to assume that everyone's 1 in 3 is not going to go the way that they need it to go. You just have to assume that. If we're talking about the average person. Because either you just get extremely lucky and you get in those 60 pulls, or you just don't get that character. Because guess what? There is no guarantee of you getting that 5-star, or not 5-star. There is no guarantee of you getting that 4-star character. There's no guarantee. You have no way to guarantee you getting that 4-star character. You have a guarantee of getting one of the 3 available or the boosted 4-star units. You have a 1 in 3 chance to get one of those. Or you have a guarantee to get one of those 3 characters, I mean. But other than that, you can't go, I want Faruzan, so if I don't get Faruzan within the next 20 pulls, my next pull after that will be guaranteed a Faruzan. There's no way to do that. We don't have that option. And this is why you shouldn't play gacha games.
If you're talking about Eonson, I can understand your argument. If you're talking about
Oh, but you're talking about a character that just came out. But what if you need that character that just came out in order to clear this abyss? And you need that character because it's like the best character for the team that you're playing. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on. We're talking about hypotheticals here, man. Like, come on, man. Come on. Let's be reasonable.
Chevres, I can understand your argument. Farazan has a lot of different banners for a lot of different things. It's like saying, hey, I don't have C6 Mortifay on my account, but
what if that character just straight up doesn't have good luck? And they keep not getting that character. You're not understanding that the probability of them not getting that character is 60%. Well, technically it's higher than that, but I don't want to talk about 6 repeating, right? Like I don't want to talk about all that. To be specific, it's 66.6 repeating. That's your chance of just outright not getting that character. And it gets higher the more you pull. But anyway, bro.
I've been playing for 3 years.
Yeah, there's no content in the game that requires a C6 Mortify.
Okay, so the game is easier.
So
It's not. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's not that it's easier. Holy. Okay, so the constellations are just additive bonuses that make the character either a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit more interesting, maybe a little more lenient to play, maybe a little bit easier to play, you know. Maybe it makes cooldowns a little bit shorter so that you're not sitting there waiting a billion years for the cooldown to go down. You know, it's little passive things that just help out the character a little bit and make them perform better. But good balance in a video game means that you don't need those upper echelon of additive bonuses and you can just clear it based on skill alone. But if you have those upper echelon of bonuses, then you can get away with not having the same amount of skill. You can get away with not being so close to the skill ceiling. But in Genshin Impact, like the passives are oftentimes so ridiculous that you have to have that upper echelon of the passive talents in order to make that character actually good. And that's just not good design. And I'm gonna be honest, it's just not it's not balanced design for sure. What's up? Welcome to the stream. If you like Genshin Impact, you probably not gonna like this stream. But yeah, I like. Okay, let me be clear. I do like Genshin Impact, but I'm far more about liking the gameplay rather than anything else in the game because it's a video game, and if the video game doesn't have gameplay, I just don't understand why we're even here. So. But yeah, welcome to the stream. I say that so that the people that really like Genshin don't get mad at me because I don't like one or two things about the game. So I have to make that disclaimer. Otherwise, people are just gonna hate my guts because I don't like one or two things about the game. But anyway, let's continue with this. I forgot what I was saying.
So you use the term "the game is easier" instead of the term "Genshin is making it simply more annoying or more inaccessible."
I would agree that it does make one or two things. That's it. I'm just saying, like, okay, I don't like the story, or okay, objectively speaking, I'm not interested in the story. Objectively speaking, like, I could care less about the story. I wish they would stop speaking so much because it takes away from the gameplay, right? And then other than that, I just don't like the malpractices of the game. Like if I had to group all the things together, that like those are like the main things that I don't like about it. And then obviously there's like a lot of the design aspects that get on my nerves, right? There's a lot of the little design aspects that I don't like, so. But like those are smaller issues though. Those are not like the big things. He said 1 to 2. Nah. He's like it's more like 1 to 2 things that you like about the game, not things that you don't like.
So when things are more annoying and less accessible, wouldn't that be more difficult?
No.
What? Okay, let me ask you guys a question. If you think something is annoying, does that inherently mean that it's difficult? If it's just annoying? Because personally, I don't think that's the same thing. I'm pretty sure those two words have two different definitions. Personally, I think those aren't the same. I think if something is annoying, like that doesn't mean that it's a difficult thing to deal with. It's just annoying. Like, okay, people don't think taxes are difficult. They just think it's annoying. Right? Is that not a good comparison? Right? Is that not a good comparison? People don't think that taxes are difficult, but they just think they're annoying. Right? Is that good? Is that a good comparison? Good comparison. Okay. So being annoying and being difficult just objectively are not the same. So him saying that is ridiculous. I feel like he's trying to make a argument of something that's not even real. Unfortunately. And what was the other thing he said? Hold on, let me see.
When things are more annoying and less accessible,
If things are less accessible, that makes them difficult. No. I would think that would make it more annoying. I would think that if it's less accessible, that just makes it annoying. For example, the Nintendo Switch 2. Okay, let's talk about Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World is $80. It's not that that price is difficult, but it being at $80 is annoying. And it's inherently less accessible because it's $80. But that doesn't make it difficult. Like, like, come on, man. What are we talking about? Like, these words don't. They're not equivalent. They don't have the same meaning. Bro, I was supposed to go through the next 10 minutes of this, and we're still at 3 minutes. Well, okay, technically we're 13 minutes in, but I'm trying to go to the 20-minute level, and then we'll do another part. But we're only at 3 minutes.
wouldn't that be more difficult?
No, because the difficulty disappears if you pull the on-banner character. The difference
He is okay. To explain why I'm laughing at that, he's saying that because the limited Natlan characters are so overtuned that they just erase any of the arbitrary mechanics that the enemy has. That's why he's saying that. And then Mothwika does like 1 billion damage. Like, man. Because the difficulty disappears when you pull the premium units. Oh my gosh. That is funny.
the difficulty between having the on-banner character, or really the element or the type of character being shilled, versus
Okay, then he says shield again, and we've already mentioned that saying shield is just bad. Let's stop saying that.
not having the on-banner character. You get a huge, you get a huge absurd difficulty spike
What's the difference?
from
What's the
not
difference here?
having the
Like,
shield.
Didn't he literally just say what the difference was? Are we doing this again? Where he asked what the difference is, but like Saint Tonotas quite literally just said what the difference was? Man.
I don't understand what you're trying to.
Once you get the shield character, there's no shield character in Wuwa. I guess that's the thing. There's no shield character or shield.
Okay, so him saying that, him saying shield as a term is just not universal enough for people to actually understand. So, when he says shield, he means there's a character that's being pushed heavily in the meta, as that character's like so good that you need this character in order to clear this content. That's what he means. I think we should remove shield from vocabulary because it's not helpful as a word. It doesn't even sound like a good word, to be absolutely honest with you.
Shield mechanic in Wuwa. There's no character that you pull in Wuwa, and the second you pull them, it's like the difficulty of the boss just falls off a cliff. Remember Pillarman, the Pillar Mech? You pull Jalonen, 0 effort. You clear in your fucking sleep.
Okay, and then Seka Pogo's gonna be like, oh, well, you can actually climb the pillar with all these other characters in the game. But they don't. But the thing with Jalonen is like it's a 1-button press to get up that pillar. And yeah, sure, there are some other characters that also have this 1-button press. But what he's not understanding is that there are also characters that have to go through a lot of specific timings and spacings in order to climb the pillar. That's what he's not understanding. But he's I'll let him prove my point.
You don't have Jalonen, it becomes an absolute
You want me to
fucking
tell
nightmare.
you the list of characters that have mechanics that can climb
Okay,
the
okay,
pillar?
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? He's not acknowledging that there are characters that have more difficulty climbing the pillar than other characters. There are characters that one button press and immediately get on top of the pillar. But then there are other characters where they have to time their jump, time their dash. They have to make sure they're approaching the pillar at a certain angle or else they can't climb the pillar. Like, the problem is that some characters have it so much easier than other characters to get up the pillar. I said this in the last video, but my way of balancing this is just making multiple ledges that any character can just jump up there. Let's say it's a short character, right? You jump on top of the ledge, right? There's a shorter ledge, and then you jump on that ledge, and then you jump up to the top ledge, and then you can hit the thing that's on top of the pillar. And then for like a medium character, you do the same thing. You jump onto the shorter ledge, and then you jump onto the top ledge, and then you hit the thing that's on top of the pillar. And the same thing with the tall character. You jump on the shorter ledge, and then you jump onto the taller ledge, and then you hit the thing that's on top of the pillar. You can balance it so that some characters don't have to do a whole lot of extra work in order to interact with a mechanic. We can say that now with my balancing method, that those characters that couldn't do the one button press method now have to press 2 buttons in order to get up the pillar. But I think that's way better than me having to sit here and approach a pillar at a specific angle, or approach a pillar with specific dash timing, with a specific jump timing in order for me to get up the pillar. Like, we can balance this so that we don't need to go through all this extra effort, is my thing. And then there are certain characters that's just outright cannot climb the pillar. Oh, but you can just switch to another character that can climb the pillar. My guy. The point is that all characters are not treated equal. That's the problem.
Okay, you don't have those characters, it becomes a nightmare. That's
Okay,
the difference.
that
In Genshin-
argument is bullshit, by the way. Okay, literally every single player in Genshin owns Kachina, who is a
I just want to tell you that not every single character in that plays Genshin owns Kachina. I just want to say that is outright false information. By default, that is false information. By default, that is false information. Little Timmy just started playing Genshin Impact 1 week ago, and he doesn't have Kachina. You want to know why? Because he doesn't meet the requirements to own Kachina. That sounds really odd. To own Kachina. to acquire that character, right? Lil Timmy has been playing for 2 weeks. There's no way he can get that character. He has to be like adventure rank 20. He has to do, I think it's like Spiral Abyss or something. Same with Kale and Lynette. Like, you have to clear like certain levels in the Spiral Abyss. Like, that information is false. And what if you play the game casually? You could have been playing this game for like, let's say like a few years, but you never really dove into the gameplay for that long, right? You've only played it like maybe once every week for like 5 minutes, and that's it, right? You don't have Kachina if you're doing that. Like, That information is false. And I am talking about the more or less newer players, right? I am more or less talking about them, but let's just well, that's actually not even the case. If I'm gonna be honest, the little Timmy example is the newer player experience, but for a hyper casual that's not even really paying that much attention to the game, that only gets on every once in a while, they don't have Kachina. I don't know what to tell you. Like the likeliness of them having Kachina, they would have to be at adventure rank 20 plus for me to assume that they even have that character. But if they're a hyper casual and they only play this game on rare occasion, they probably don't have Kachina. They probably didn't play back when the pandemic hit, and so they didn't get stuck at home playing this game nonstop. Like, let's stop being disingenuous, bro.
A free character that we have all received.
Yeah, I don't want to use a midget on
That
the team.
character is free.
I don't want to use her.
Every single player that did the event in Genshin owns Odoron. He's free this patch.
And what if you missed that event and now you don't have Ororon? Or what if you're a player that doesn't even understand that events are even in the game? Because I was definitely one of those players early on. I had no idea what events were. I've been playing since like right before Inazuma came out. I didn't know what events were until like late Inazuma. Like I had no idea. I didn't pay any attention to them. The very first event that I actually paid attention to was the Wii Sports event where they had this Wave Rider. I had no idea what events were until then. I didn't pay that much attention. I played the game for the gameplay, like you're supposed to do when you play a video game. But anyway.
He
Yeah,
can jump high.
I don't want to use
The
him.
most owned character in Genshin Impact is named Kazuha. He jumped.
Okay, but what if you don't have Kazuha? Like I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people that just don't have Kazuha. He's the most owned. That doesn't mean that everyone has him. Like you defeat your point while making it, which is crazy to me.
I don't want to use him. He's on the other
If you
side.
don't want to use him,
He's on the other side is another good point. He's on the other side and I need him over there. So that's a good point.
it will be harder, but you can climb it.
Yeah, and I'm saying that being forced into using characters that I don't want to use is not fun.
You're not forced into using them.
But if you want to make it easy, if you want to make it easier, you're forced to use those characters. There's no other way. You have to use those characters if you want it to be done easier, faster, and more efficiently. Pause.
You can use what you want if you want to do it. It is just harder.
Yeah,
What's the problem?
But if you want to make it easier, you're forced into using those characters. So what you just said, it just means nothing. Like. Again, we're just being a little disingenuous, man. We're just being a little disingenuous. Just a tad bit. Just a tad. Just a tad, bro. Just a tad. I had to hit you with that vibrato real quick.
The thing is, that's what we're arguing. The fact that Genshin Impact shills certain types of characters, and if you basically essentially, if you don't use them, you have a dog shit time.
Okay.
And these are elements that are
What's the
and
problem?
These are like
I
outside
don't
of elements.
understand.
Bro, how many times did he have to state the issue at hand for you to actually understand what the issue is? Like, are you not listening? Maybe he's being thrown off by the word chill, and if he is getting thrown off by the word chill, I perfectly get it. I perfectly understand. Because that word is just bad. Like honestly, that word is just straight up bad. And you really should not use that word if you're trying to make a point. If you want to make a point, using that word is definitely not the way to go. Instead, we go they are heavily pushing you to get this character that is currently on banner, or they are super supporting this new character, right? They are what's another word that I can use, right? Like they are heavily presenting this character for you to use in this abyss. They're what's the there is a word for this, like an actual word. Spotlight. They're spotlighting this character. That's a way better way to say that. They're drawing way more attention to this character for this specific mechanic, so it'll be easier for you to do this. Okay, they technically do this every single Spiral Abyss cycle, but the thing is that usually it is element only that they're really pushing the character. So if Farina, let's say Farina is in the is on the banner, right? Farina and I don't know, Farina and Neuvillette. You know that the Spiral Abyss is going to be heavily tailored towards Hydro units. Heavily tailored. So you want to just straight up bring Hydro characters. Straight up. That's what you want. You just want to bring Hydro units. And I think that is better than what they've been recently doing. Because these other characters, they want you to bring these characters because they are overtuned in the things that they do. People might be like, oh, well, isn't Neuvillette overtuned in how strong he is? I wouldn't say so, because I think he is quite balanced at a baseline. Yeah, he can do a lot of damage. Yeah, he can self-sustain, but if he gets hit, he probably is gonna get smacked around, right? And he moves slow enough so that some enemies can still track him when they try to attack him. I think it's just balanced enough. And that's why I think Neuvillette is the best character in the game. From a design standpoint, I think he's the best character in the game because he can do everything that would make a character a fully fledged character. Okay, maybe using the word character is gonna throw people off. A fully fledged unit, because I know some people are gonna go, Wanderer had character development in the story, and I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna look at them and I'm gonna be like, I'm not talking about the story. I'm talking about gameplay. Anyway, let's continue here.
Understand specifically what the problem is. If there is a way to do what you need to do with every character in the game.
Okay, did he just explain what the issue is? It's like we're running in circles trying to avoid what is actually being said. This is like politician speak, I'm not gonna lie. This is low-key politician speak, bro.
What is the problem?
You wanna know what WuWa does? There are certain bosses that are really
Okay, no. So the problem, because all he had to do was just repeat what he just said. So the problem is that there are characters that do a certain thing against a boss's arbitrary mechanic, and those characters do that certain thing easier than other characters. That is the problem. Rather than simply being accessible to all characters. That's the problem. What if you've used Cloran's skill and now you have to climb the pillars? But in order for you to climb the pillars, the only way for you to do that is to lose your skill buff and then switch to a different character and then climb the pillar that way, and then have absolutely zero time to use her skill. Or her skill's on cooldown now. At least if she could climb the pillar reasonably well, she could still have a little bit of uptime on her skill. But that's not possible because she just cannot climb it. And when you switch back to her anyway, her skill's gone. You just lose it when you switch. I think it's just a balancing issue that's being regarded here, and that's all it is. It's just balancing. But he's acting like it just doesn't exist.
Really fucking annoying unless you parry them multiple times.
No, I am aware. Yeah, Thunder Manifestation is an asshole, man.
Yeah,
If you
and
parry
then-
him at the right times, he's easy as fuck.
Absolutely, right? And so you simply just take your team that you like using, you don't feel like you're forced into using characters, and you just simply parry with
You
that
know what
team.
Wuthering Waves does, though? It's really cool. They introduced these new characters called, Peeps and Zanny. And what you're going to be able to do is stun lock the boss so he doesn't even have mechanics at range. You know what we didn't have when Thunder Manifestation came out? We didn't have characters that attacked at range effectively besides Chia. So one of the
This is not true. Encore does the same thing. It's not true. Objectively. It's been in the game since day one. I'm just saying.
biggest content creators in Wuthering Waves is Genazed, and what he does is he does just Doge with a ranged DPS character, solo, Gigi.
Yeah, so he's using
Like-
what he wants.
Yeah, exactly. So he can, right? You can do the same thing in Genshin. You know what the
It's not the same. It's not the same. That mechanic is accessible to all characters as long as you just attack at the right time. You can just stand there and then wait for the enemy to come to you and then just press the attack button at the right time. It's not the same. These two mechanics aren't the same. A pillar that you have to climb and attacking at the same time that the enemy is attacking you is not the same kind of mechanic, bro. And if you are somebody who thinks that those are the same mechanics, you're just dumb. I don't even understand how you could even I don't even understand how you could even quantify those as being the same when they're just not. Man.
number 10 most used team is in Genshin Impact for CN?
No, because I
Solo
don't.
Risley. Solo C1 Risley. People
Why would he know that? And what point are you making?
do what they want to here.
I'm not sure how solo clears relate to the discussion.
If you are good enough, you can play what you want. If you're
Okay, so this okay, hold on. So this statement A is in bad faith and it's just factually wrong. Because you have to have giga investment to make Risley that good that you can solo him. In the Spiral Abyss, anyway. Like, you have to have a ton of investment into that character. Not only do you need the damage, you need to have at least his C1 to ensure that you are HP positive at all times. It's either his C1 or his C2, right? And I don't really know about any of his other constellations, but you have to have either a C1 or a C2 to have that. Again, you have to have the damage, right? Like, you have the elemental application by default, but that's the only thing that you have. You don't have the necessary damage output inherently. You just don't have that. And then you have to make sure your talent levels are higher enough so that you're doing enough reasonable damage. This is just an argument that's made in bad faith.
not good enough, you can't. I don't really understand the problem. It's a video game with
And this isn't a skill thing, because you can play Risley the exact same way, right? You can play him the exact same way, but you can still not clear because you don't have the necessary amount of investment. Especially if you're a solo Risley. Like, it's just bad faith. It's just bad faith. This is just a bad faith argument, bro. Straight up. It just straight up is.
an end game set of difficulty, and you are trying to beat hard content. If you're good enough, you can do it. If you're not, you can't.
Yeah, but what if you only have like mediocre investment? Like, what if you only have average player level investment? What if you were only allowed to have average player investment, but you have the skill to do anything? I tell you what, you're not gonna clear it. I already know you're not gonna clear it. You could have a C6, talent levels all crowned, artifacts all at level 20, god rolls at that. Okay, wait, no, that's the investment level. My bad. That's high investment. If you have C0 Risley, I'm gonna tell you what the average player is gonna have. They're gonna have a level 80 Risley, a level 80 weapon. It's gonna be like a 4-star level 80 weapon. He's gonna have like level 16 plus artifacts. He'll have talent level 5. Maybe one of them will be 7. And then yeah, that's like the average loadout for like an average player, right? Let's say you have the skill level to just obliterate anything, right? As long as you have like investment, right? You just aren't gonna clear it with an average player's account. You're just not, bro. You're just not doing that. Unless you specifically go in and start upgrading a bunch of stuff so that you can clear it. But then I would have to tell you that is investment. Like, that's higher level investment, bro. It's just not being disingenuous.
What's the problem?
So you're saying that the fact that there's an absurd difficulty spike from not using the shield characters, that's okay. Just play better.
That's how all video games are, dude.
That is literally objectively not how it is for all video games. It's not how it is. You remember when Cloud first came out and then people were playing Cloud? Right? People weren't losing the Cloud because he's just the shield okay, now I'm saying it. Because he was the premium unit that just came out. No. People were losing because they didn't have any matchup experience with him. And then, when they got a little bit more matchup experience, right? They could just pull up with a Fox or a Jigglypuff and still kill him. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Probably not Jigglypuff, because you'd have to do a lot of crazy stuff with Jigglypuff. But you can still beat him with other characters. Same with Bayonetta when in Smash 4. Like, Diddy Kongs were still beating Bayos. Like, come on, man. Like, Rob was still a good player, a good character. Like, this argument is just made in bad faith. This is not true for all of video games, because Smash Bros. Is right there. And again, if I have one example, that means your argument is inherently false. Because you say it's for all. And if you say it's for all video games, and I can give you a single example where that's not the case, then what you said is wrong.
Like, if you wanted to play, let's just use Elden Ring as an example for a hard game, and you wanted to play a naked butt-ass run and play a parry bill with a buckler, kick a dude off a cliff, you could. If you wanted to have an easy child clear and just like have an easy time going through it, you can use a bunch of summons, magic, and just clap cheeks. There's a lot of different ways of doing the same thing, and the fun is in figuring.
Those are not the same thing, though. That's not even. Those are not the same. First off, that's okay. First off, if you're running the naked player in Elden Ring, that is not. That is inherently self-imposed difficulty. It's not artificial difficulty. It's self-imposed difficulty. It's the same thing like if we go to Pokemon and we run a Nuzlocke, right? A Nuzlocke is when if a Pokemon faints, you can no longer use that Pokemon, and you can only catch new Pokemon that show up in a new area, and you can only catch one of that new Pokemon. That's a Nuzlocke, but that's not officially in the game. That is self-imposed difficulty. And that's the same thing with Elden Ring. If you're running that essentially like a naked player, then you're just running self-imposed difficulty, bro. Like you have other options to make yourself more viable, but you're choosing not to do that. That is self-imposed. It's not like arbitrary or artificial difficulty where the enemy just has 85 billion HP, but their one attack is them jumping in the air and uh just slamming the ground. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Come on.
Figuring out which one is the most fun to you. If you want to play a specific character in Genshin Impact and make it an unga bunga clear for the game, you can. There are many characters that can do that.
Okay, so what about the characters that can't do that? What about them? Why can't they do it? He's not understanding that the point is that there's an inequivalence as to how characters can actually be utilized in this game. He's not understanding that. And to be fair, Saint Tontas is not doing a great job of explaining that. To be absolutely fair.
If you want to pick one, you can. If you want to keep losing, you don't pick the hard character. You pick the easier character. The nuts and bolts of that is because your skill isn't proficient enough to do well.
So,
Or you pick the easier character because you just don't want to sit through all the slop. Also, again, the skill ceiling for Genshin Impact is not that high. It's actually quite low. Because at the peak of your skill in Genshin Impact is going to be your understanding of team compositions and their synergy, and then being able to execute those team rotations. And that's it. And I guess if you want to sprinkle in AI manipulation, right? But that's it though. That's all you get.
I think the big point that you're missing over here is that these characters.
You want to win without difficulty?
No, these.
Oh my god. Stop interjecting with wrong accusations. Well, not wrong accusations, with wrong conclusions. These are just wrong conclusions. You're just wrong. Oh my gosh, man.
Characters cost money, and in
I
Elden
can do it
Ring,
free to play, but
everything
okay.
is free.
Everything's free for Wuthering Waves?
Yeah, everything is no. And I literally just said Elden Ring. Why are we bringing in Wu Walra?
Because Segapoko isn't listening. And he's trying super duper hard to defend Genshin when it's completely unnecessary. All he has to do is actually just pay attention to what's being said, and that's it. That's all he's got to do. But he's making it something that it's not.
We're going off your
Okay,
Elden Ring example.
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry, it was an audio glitch.
Yeah, because he wasn't listening.
Okay. Everything in Elden Ring is free.
Sure.
You can just choose whatever you want because it's free, right?
Sure. But
And
it takes lots of time and resources to then invest into the builds that you want to in Elden Ring, right?
Well, yeah.
Not as much as Genshin. You can say that, but it's not as much as Genshin though. Because Genshin requires you to do like a lot.
Everything in the game is free once you buy it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the same thing's true here. You know, you'd spend a lot of time.
No, it's not the same thing in Genshin. It's not. It's not the same thing in Genshin. If you're not spending any money on this game, you have to grind copious amounts. And I'm not free to play, right? Like I will eventually, well not eventually, I will here and there spend a little bit. But like it's not so much where it's concerning. I've spent enough to understand the economy in this game. Is what I'll say.
Time and resources and what you want to play.
Yeah, in Genshin Impact, most people, if they want to have the freedom to choose at the same level that, in the example Elden Ring, if you want the freedom to choose your builds
Gacha
and
banners.
choose your
You're
difficulty.
conflating an argument about gacha banners and you're saying Genshin's the problem when every game that's a gacha game does this. Okay.
No, I'm
understand.
saying
What?
in the example Elden Ring, if you want the freedom to choose your builds
gacha
and
banners.
choose your
You're
difficulty,
Wait,
Yeah,
hold
just
on.
the builds that you want to in Elden Ring, right?
everything in Elden Ring is free.
Sure.
You can just choose whatever you want because it's free, right?
Sure. But
And
it takes lots of time and resources to then invest into the builds that you want to in Elden Ring, right?
Well, yeah, because everything in the game is free once you buy it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the same thing's true here. You know, you'd spend a lot of time and resources in what you want to play.
Yeah, in Genshin Impact, most people, if they want to have the freedom to choose at the same level that, you know, in the example Elden Ring, if you want the freedom to choose your
Oh,
builds
gotcha
and
banners.
choose your
You're
difficulty.
conflating an argument about gotcha banners, and you're saying Genshin's the problem when
Can you let him finish his point before you jump in and with some conclusion that like is potentially wrong? Like, can you just let him explain his point?
every game that's a gotcha game does this. Okay.
No,
I
I'm
understand what
saying
you're trying to say.
we literally just made the big differences very clear in Wuthering Waves between Genshin Impact. We just listed out how Genshin Impact has shield bosses.
Here he goes with the shield thing. I hate it, bro. Dude defending Genshin is a shining example of why I no longer try to discuss games with people. Hey man, at least you can have content, bro. At least you can have content. At least if you do that, then you have content there. So, man, it's just he is genuinely defending Genshin way too hard here. All he has to do is just listen to what's being said and stop interjecting when he could be potentially wrong. Like he just needs to stop doing that.
Shield mechanics, shield elements, where if you don't go ahead and you don't pull the right thing or you don't have the right character for this shield boss mechanic, you have a dog shit time. You have an awful time. And as a result of that awful time, you have to invest an incredible amount of time into perfecting the team's rotations, perfecting and doing all of this stuff.
You know what the most used phrase for people in the Genshin community is when it comes to difficulty? Is this: Genshin Impact is an easy game, play who.
He isn't defending a game, he is attacking the other guy. I don't think he's attacking him. Sega Poco definitely is defending Genshin Impact to an absurd level. It became apparent when he kept interjecting. I don't think he's attacking him. I think he's trying to, at the very least, I think he's trying to just outright discredit his argument. But I don't think that's attacking. It to me, it definitely seems like he's just going out of his way to defend Genshin. Like it doesn't seem like he's going out of his way to defend it because he doesn't need to he doesn't need to jump to the conclusions that he's jumping to, especially when it's unnecessary for him to do that. And to be fair, there is a level of animosity that I am picking up here, but I don't think it's like to the point where it's spiteful. Just yet, anyway. Oh, let me see what he said.
Perfecting the team's rotations, perfecting and doing all of this stuff.
You know what the most used phrase for people?
Oh yeah. He said that Genshin is an easy game, and the reason why. Oh, okay, I agree with him that Genshin is an easy game, but it's not for the reasons that he thinks. Genshin is easy because the skill ceiling is low. You use your skill, you use your burst, you swap out. That's the game. Genshin is easy because it just has a really low skill ceiling. Not because, of the enemies being like pushovers or anything. It's not because of that. It's just because the baseline level of what the character's able to do and what the player will do in combat is just not a lot of stuff. The only thing that can make the game difficult is if the enemies have interesting attack patterns or they have a lot of interactivity that makes you actively engage with the enemy. But Genshin doesn't make any enemies that do things like that.
In the Genshin community when it comes to difficulty, is this: Genshin Impact is an easy game, play who you want. It is one of the most used phrases in the entire community. So
Okay, so the only way that you can actually say that in like and have it make sense is if it is assumed that the player in question has a high amount of investment into the characters that they have, which, by the way, there's 96 characters, and there's a lot of resources that you would have to have in order to ensure that all those characters have reasonable levels of investment to make the game that an actual pushover. Oh, honestly, you'd have to have an absurd level of investment to make to ensure that all the characters in the game had an easy time and just make everything a pushover. Like it, the reason why it's considered an easy game is not for the reasons that he's presenting.
To now say that Genshin is more difficult because you have to choose what you want for endgame content is now a problem. So you're saying that it's a problem.
Okay, I'm gonna say this definitively. Endgame content in this game is a problem because the HP inflation is way too much. It's way too much. There's no real interactivity, there's no real engagement going on. It's just hit the bullet sponge until it dies, and that's it. And as an in-game mechanic, I just think that's poor design. And people are getting bored with that. I wish he understood that, but it doesn't look like it doesn't look like he gets it. Like,
Because you're not able to clear. Okay, so do you want it to be harder or do you want it to be easier?
You want the game to feel balanced, and you don't want the game to feel like it's going to be a dog shit
What's the
experience
balance you're
unless you
referring to?
pull the.
he's been explaining what the balance was this whole time, bro. I personally just want the enemies to be more engaging and not have mechanics that obfuscate certain characters entirely. Like the Hydro Pyro Slimes. I still think that they should take some damage, but they should just have really high resistance. And I think that's it. I don't understand why they have to be just invincible to certain elements. I don't think that should be the design choice at hand. And in the previous video that I made, I mean, I already listed a ton of different ways. Well, I think it was like maybe 3 different ways where they could balance out the seahorse enemy, and then I even listed out a way to balance the pillar guy. Like, there is better balance that could be made here, and maybe it's harder for those. I don't want to gloat, but maybe it's harder for those that don't understand game design or don't have a profession in game design to understand what real balance actually looks like, but or maybe it's not. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's just a short-sightedness, right? Maybe it's that. Maybe it has nothing to do with understanding the profession or not. We'll say that.
The newest units.
What's the balance you're referring to so we can understand your point of view?
How about you simply don't have Giga Shield mechanics that if you don't have the shield unit, it feels.
How about we don't have mechanics that can completely obfuscate certain characters? Is how I would put this. Cloran gets completely and entirely obfuscated here. Or how about we also don't add mechanics that makes it really easy for certain characters to do things to get an advantage state over the enemy, and just allow all characters to interact equally with the enemy. And you might be like, oh, but don't the elements make things easier or harder? That can be a separate mechanic. Say the Sawani, right? If you freeze the Sawani with cryo during its hydro state, then it can take additional shatter or pyro damage. That mechanic is just fine Because guess what? If you don't freeze that enemy, it just goes into another state where you can use any other element. Okay, maybe not any other element, but any swirlable element. And then you can put it into its downed state. And if you don't even do that, you can still just do reasonable damage to it, you know? I think we can just we can balance things out so that certain characters just don't get shafted or obfuscated or made to be less desirable than other characters. We can do things like that.
Feels like shit, and you simply up the baseline difficulty of things if you want stuff to get harder.
What's the difficulty baseline increase that you're talking?
Okay, so baseline difficulty increase would be the enemies either attack faster, they deal more damage, don't have like an absurd amount of HP. They have like a regular, understandable, relatable amount of HP, but their attack values are higher, so you have to be more mindful of their attacks, and so you'd have to be more proactive when dodging, right? Maybe they attack a little bit faster, or they do a little bit more damage, or their AI does something differently than their overworld counterparts that would quote unquote make them smarter than the overworld counterparts. And don't give them a boatload of HP, an unnecessary amount of HP. Just don't do that. Like, I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's that hard to understand this concept. I really don't. Other games do this. Other games do this, and they've been doing this for such a long time. But when it comes to games like this, people go like, "Oh, we'll just up the HP and it'll be fine." And you know what's interesting? When there's a lot of other games out there, whenever they inflate the HP of an enemy, people get annoyed and irritated that there's so much HP, and then the coined phrase bullet sponge keeps getting thrown around because the enemy isn't interesting and all they are is a bullet sponge. They just soak up all this damage and they don't really do anything else other than that. That's what we're talking about. That's a baseline level of difficulty that can be introduced. Make them do more damage, or make their attack speed faster, or make their AI smarter, quote unquote smarter. That's all you gotta do. That's all it is. Give them a new attack, right? Change up their attack styles. That's all you gotta do. Or if you want to go the lazy route, just make them make their attacks harder, hit harder, you know? If you want to go the lazy route, just make their attacks hit harder and then give them a little less HP. That's all you got to do. Instead of whatever they're doing in Spiral Abyss. You know what's crazy? In the Spiral Abyss, not only do they make their attacks hit harder, they also increase their HP to an unnecessary degree. And then they ensure that the enemy's down state lasts less time. And it gets to the point where it's not difficult, it just becomes annoying. That's the difference.
About these more specific.
I don't know, the boss's HP not doubling since version 4.5?
It's a good point. It's what I just said. This is pre-watch, but I don't remember the whole video. So, but yeah, we've made it to the 10-minute part. So that means, or not 10 minutes. We've made it to the 20-minute part. Okay, hold on.
No, I didn't say what you did.
Now we've made it to the 20-minute part. So we will leave it here, and then we'll come back tomorrow, and we'll do a little bit more of this. And then hopefully we'll get through the rest of the video. Even though I'm not trying to make this out into being like 5 parts of 2 hours of content, but like this is just what's happening. let me know. Do you guys like fighting bullet sponges? Do you guys think that's fun and engaging to just fight a boss that just doesn't really react to your damage but just keeps attacking you and just lives for eons, you know? You guys find that fun? You must not find it fun because people don't like bullet sponges, right? Anyway, I'm going out of here. Catch you guys in the next one.